Good morning, Deify here, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, where we're helping Lily's class paint some banners for the festival. And, we've got Hanako here, looking as awkward as ever, but, really, Hanako's personality aside, who wouldn't look like that when standing next to Kenji? I can't imagine the guy really has a lot of friends. Hanako and I grudgingly set ourselves down on the opposite side of the cloth banner to Kenji, noting the several small paint tins on the ground around it. Class 3-2. Noodle stall. You guys selling noodles at the festival on Sunday? Yeah, some stalls outside, or something. Or something. His non-committal nature sparks a fair amount of suspicion on my behalf. The task at hand comes first, though. So, how do you want to split this? We do borders while you do the text, or do you want to switch and do the borders? Text is mine. You do borders. Alright, cool. He has surprisingly strong feelings on this topic. Wow, great. I love this guy already, bossing us around. Fantastic. As I reach over to grab a brush, I noticed Hanako's already debating between colors to use. By the time I've put brush to cloth, she's already started on a delicate pattern. Looks like my idea of taking her mind off everyone around her worked. With a dark blue stroke, the three of us silently get to work. Not before Kenji takes advantage of Hanako's working to lean towards me and whisper conspiratorially, though. Oh, good. Okay, man. Why are you here? Hanako just wanted some help to find Lily, that's all. He apparently disapproves of my motivations. I get it. It looks like I misjudged you. You're infiltrating them, aren't you? Going deep undercover. I should have guessed. Letting the truth slip by him would probably be better than outright lying or annoying him in any case. Is that why you're here? Obviously. It sucks, but there's no better way to get intel than going in yourself. We gotta stick together, man. This is a harsh school. A harsh world. Yeah. Very harsh. He misses my true meaning as he leans back, satisfied I'm sympathetic to his cause. I'd better get down to work. Finished. Looks like I am too. Good job. The two of us connect up the lines of our patterns, mine being as close a copy as I could manage of hers. With a grunt, I lever myself up from the floor and look around. That's me levering myself up from the floor and grunting. Aside from Hanako and myself, there's only Kenji left finishing off a sign, as well as Lily and a couple students talking amongst themselves in the classroom. Looking at my watch, it's no surprise. It's getting pretty late. Need a hand? I offer a hand to Hanako, which she uses to get herself up. As she does, I can't help but glance at her wrist. If her scars extend even to there, just how much of her body was burned? Feel a pang of guilt about it, however, as she quickly covers her wrist with her other hand. Looks good, doesn't it? She looks surprised for a moment, before noticing that I mean the banner. It does, I guess. Her smile shows that she feels a slight sense of pride in the result, just as I do. It's the most creative thing I'm gonna do forever, copying someone else's work. Perfect. It's what us non-creative types like to call art. With the floor significantly neater for the decorations being placed on desks and shelves, it's much easier to get to Lily as we cross the room. We've finished the banner. I guess that's all that needs to be done? Lily gives an appreciative nod. Thank you, Hisao. Hanako? If there's any way I can thank you... Oh, it's fine. Beats sitting in my room studying, at any rate. I don't mind either. She nods before suddenly remembering one last person. Oh, is Kenji still here? Just as I open my mouth, Kenji gives the answer from the other side of the room. Yeah, just finished. He carefully slides his sign onto an empty section of the shelf to dry before quickly walking past us and out the door. See ya, man. Bye. Alright, awesome. Don't say goodbye to the other two, that's quite alright. The remaining two students say their goodbye to Lily before taking their cue to leave as well, leaving only the three of us. Well, I guess that's everyone. I hope we don't have to do anything like that again. Working past school time? Indeed, the class's plans this year were ambitious. maybe too ambitious. The stalls look nice, though. She's right. Shows that a lot of work's gone into them. My, I'm sure a lot of us would be glad to hear that. At least now there's not much work to do until the festival itself. It's getting pretty late. Should we go? That's probably a good idea. Are you going back to the dorms as well, Hisao? Yeah, guess I'll tag along. No dinner? Did Hanako and I eat dinner? I can't remember. We were on the way to the cafeteria. I thought, guys, food? Maybe that's what I always do with my friends. Like, we finish something up, it's like 9:45 p.m. We're like, whew, still got an hour to hit the dining hall. Let's go. I loved hitting the dining hall. It was real good to have food just ready for you. The nighttime lighting really makes the gardens look quite different compared to the usual look of lush greenery. Things are much more calm. Being that it's so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two can be seen scurrying to and from the dorms, trying to eke the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after the mad rush during school. Without even noticing it, I let out a small yawn. It's the loudest thing in the world. Like, oh my god, I'm tired. Oh, sorry. Tired? No. Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The, thing with Shizune took me kind of off guard, though. I grit my teeth a little at the candid mention of their rather public spat. That said, I do want to sort out what in the world was behind it. About that. I'm sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways. Her voice seems slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it any further. I glance to Hanako for her views on this, but her expression is, unsurprisingly, evasive and difficult to read. The Hanako special. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered. I'll be glad once the festival is over in any case. The change of topic's welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. I can imagine my old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this. Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals in such special occasions. And yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Hanako and Lily both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from a strict all-girls school helped me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to there, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go way towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. Yeah, okay, we're learning something about Lily now. As we come up to the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lily, Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys'. As is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Gotta get that 70s awkward music coming out. Walking past him, I quickly stretch my arms and rub my neck, both quite sore after having worked on the floor for so long, before walking to my room. Feels good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seem almost a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. Phew, definitely not drinking on the roof with Kenji, right? That is not okay. I'm feeling tired, so I set my alarm clock to wake me up as late as I can afford, while still making it to the first class. The nurse's voice is almost nagging in the back of my head about morning jogs. Make a resolution to make up for it by going for a walk after school tomorrow. Emmy won't care either way, I bet. Famous last words. Famous last words. Let's be sure that we have skip mode on. I'm not sure if it stays on between saves. It's a little hard to tell sometimes what's happening, but I'll just try it right here because this looks like a shower scene that I don't want to deal with. Oh well, it's the Kenji in the hallway. Alright, Muto, Emmy, we're going to the roof with her, okay, eating with her and Rin. Very yummy, delicious. Oh, they're getting super close to me. Okay, everything's great. We're making best of friends with them. And of course, Emmy cares that we weren't at the track. Go to the library with Yuko. Go to the town with Lily. Wow, okay, there's a lot that lines up in the same, or in different playthroughs, even though now I guess we're not really on a different route. Like, you just get a different scene in between, but for the most part, nothing really changes until the festival. So I guess that'll make sense. Let's just save right here to make sure we have the correct, like a good save file. I guess it really doesn't matter because, I mean, if we want 100% it, we're going to need all of them. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition, if you know what I mean. No problemo. Oh. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait. So the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I'd intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. Oh, that's right, because Lily didn't see it since, I didn't talk with Hanako, so I didn't wait for Lily in the classroom. So yeah, Lily didn't see it, so she wouldn't have known about that in the last time. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, I think we're still good to go on skip mode. This is where Rin's going to work on her painting. We're going to head back. Now Saturday, Muto's asking how things have been, wants to make sure that we're doing all right. Lily and Hanako do their thing. This is where Lily comes in and talks to her and then leaves again. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Ah, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving into one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenshi. No, he doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. Ah, this is the one I was expecting. Let's save. Okay, so we want to keep creative paint, because that's probably how we go to the Rin route. But let's, I guess my other ones probably would have given me that option. You know, sometimes it's difficult to tell. You gotta make, like, every possible decision eventually. Alright, so this is pretty much the decisive decision, as redundant as that sounds. Do I go to the library and talk with Hanako? Or do I go for a walk into town and run into Lily? So these are, of course, the two that I was trying to narrow it down to. And it was very difficult to determine which one I actually wanted to go with. Honestly, at this point, I'm still not sure I really know which one I want to go for. So I'm kind of just going to talk it through aloud. So the Hanako route is very, very painful and sad. And I think it's just easily the most depressing route. Now, I think the ending of the Lily route has more overall sadness. Like, the Lily route's the one that made me cry when I first played through this game. And sometimes thinking back on it, if I'm having a bad day, I go, man, I don't like remembering the ending of the Lily route. The Hanako route just makes me sad in general. But I think I need to go with my heart, which is The Act 2 Hanako cutscene is absolutely gorgeous. Has my favorite piece of music in this game. It has it's just my favorite cutscene in this game. The visuals are stunning. The music is stunning. I'm gonna go to the library. Okay, here we go. I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for this, but I've probably got a couple more episodes before things start getting really bad. The library seems as good a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Through each one, the sound of furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door, almost as loud as a concert. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but they're the only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walk through the library, now fairly familiar with its layout. I head to the back, where Hanako's private little corner is. Run my hand along the spines of the books on the way through, feeling the individual texture of each as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. Like the smell of a library. No matter how much care you take, the paper in books is always going to degrade with time. Probably, no matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have that same musty smell. Find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved, then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she is sitting on a beanbag with her back to a bookshelf, reading the same book she'd had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat in a beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. This delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should... Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure. You may not like it, but... I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you've stuck with it, haven't you? Or are you saying that you have terrible taste? Or is it smut? Oh my gosh, Hanako, are you reading smut? What a line to go to right there. I guess. I settle into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I am barely skimming over the words, having chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decide to try and make conversation. So, I see Lily left without you? She nods before taking her eyes off the book. She must have been really into it after all. Lily said she had to go and meet someone. Oh? Akira, her sister. Sister? I haven't heard her talk about her family. She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. Oh my gosh, before she came here. Well, I mean, she said she moved into the dorms at the start of her second year anyways. We don't have to. But it's easier, right? I mean, there's food here, and you're close to school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. What a very Japanese thing to say. Nah, probably not. But I mean, like, I showed up to school all the time, and I don't know if it's, can't be that different over there. I don't know how many, like, schools per capita or whatever there are, but I mean, like, my school's, like, 5 miles away. It's a little ridiculous sometimes when you're like, alright, gotta drive 15 minutes for this place. It's like, alright, if we must. I don't know, maybe that's not so bad. I feel like it's bad, though. I just want the school, like, in my backyard. Actually, no, I don't. Who am I kidding? Stop talking. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. In the back of my mind, I know I have a bit of homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Misha! Shizune! Though now that I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey, Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? For a split second, I think that Hanako's about to throw her book in the air from shock. Sorry? I was just asking what you're doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned? I don't know. Hanako answers in the way that people do when they don't want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. Oh, okay. Change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like? She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses businesslike. Businesslike? She's always wearing a suit. Ah, I see. And that makes her less pretty somehow? Hanako gives an embarrassed shake of her head. No, just different. I'll admit it, this has got me intrigued. To hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is a first, and to be complimentary about it too. But as I try to picture this mystery sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit, and I can't imagine that not being attractive. Not at all. Come on, dude, we're on the Hanako route now. Get Lily out of your brain. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her. Okay. Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window. Slowly, the noises from the various rehearsals in the building fade out and die as students start to get hungry and tired, and dead, probably. It's a war out there. Just thinking about that makes my stomach start to turn knots around itself. I think it's time to head back. Do you think Lily would be back by now? I think I might head back to my dorm. I'm pretty tired from this week. Not a word of that is a lie. Not even the question. It's really hard to lie in question form. Moving to a new school as it ramps up for a major event has been taxing, to say the least. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book. Okay, I might stay here a little longer. Looking at Hanako's book, I can see that she is only a few pages away from completing it. For a moment, I consider hanging around until she finishes, but once again my stomach turns, emitting a gurgling sound. Sure thing. Well, I'm going to head off before it gets dark. I'll see you around, okay? Okay. See you, Hisao. Later. Hisao? Thank you for hanging out with me. I can see how hard it was for her to get that simple sentence out of her mouth. Leaves me hanging for a moment. So, there is someone in this school who is even lonelier than me. Maybe lonely is a wrong word. I haven't been lacking company for this first week, but I've still managed to feel somewhat alone and detached. Maybe lonely is the wrong word for Hanako, too. She has Lily, after all, doesn't she? I realize I've been standing there far too long without answering, and pull off a flawless, not too exaggerated smile. You're welcome. Good night, Hanako. Night. I leave her to finish her book and head back to the dorms in the promise of food. Wouldn't you go to the cafeteria for that? Do they have food in your dorms? That's the dream! That's literally the dream, not needing to leave the dorms to even get food. Oof, it's like in The Sims 2, how there's just a cook in the dorm room. Perfect. I love it. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Whoa, were you drinking with Kenji yesterday? Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday, though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates with a craving for low-quality food. Let's see, I think I've read some of this, so... Oh, good, we get to skip the Kenji thing. That's exactly what I want. Alright, so he's asking what we're doing. I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to at least see that one and chat with Lily, I guess. Hey! No! No. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligation for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the way of my great vision. As expected of blind people. What? Besides, I thought that you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. Perfect. Held that one real well. I can see the future of mankind. Oh, sorry, this is Kenji speaking. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one unless the threat of women is stifled. Dude, shut up. I need an option. I need to be able to hack this game. Just have a shut up option that just lets you skip these. They're everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster like he's trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Is it whiskey? Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. Stupid is what Kenji just said. Can we, Hisao, come on. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away at the rather bland-tasting item. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing and didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized, colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly, something that I'd also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives and ardently refused to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. I guess that also goes a way to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit. I kind of like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for too long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting, now that the hottest part of the day is here. I'd better get moving if I... The sound of the carillon bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around here as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bell ends. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. Thank you everyone for coming to the festival. Just like the festival, what I show you right now. You're welcome to go get some takoyaki, some yakitori, some salsa. You can have all the kind of noodles and foods you want. Have great festival, okay? If anyone got that, awesome. I'm not sure how actually, understandable that will come out. I can tell what I was saying because, I knew what I was saying, but if anyone wants to take a crack at that one, I'll probably have forgotten by the time this video comes out. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on a tried and trusted rule. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going, after all the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it. This must be it. Look at that banner we made. So that's red text, right? That's the one? I would assume so. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, and with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated, and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere, as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. Doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression, and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Why are you asking me? I do not know. Are you saying I stole it? Oh, Lily, okay. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? Takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. I guess, miso soup? Is that Hisao? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left? That's right, she's going to try and round up a few of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. Guess I better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right. Coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over the correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks. I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there's one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? It's not like I'm on her route or anything, Lily. Wait, what? Oh. No, should I find her? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then? Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako, too. Thank you, Hisao. Walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as others. Like, do we even know what your class does? Can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That, and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they were, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Lily doesn't look impressed at all, and I can't really blame her. On top of her issues with her stall, she still seems to be worried about Hanako. Can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help is by trying to take her mind off of our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back on the counter, I call out to Lily. Hey, Lily, don't worry about Hanako. I'll go find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Isao. And if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? Will do. Have a good one, and make sure you take a break, okay? I will if I can. See you later, Isao. I leave Lily in the stall and head out in search of Hanako. In a way, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she is enjoying herself. Alright, well there's a fade to black transition, which means now we get to change the lovely image that I've swapped up every time, slowly narrowing it down on the sides. Get to swap that up to Hanako. Once and for all. Exciting times, but I'm going to leave this episode here. I'm supposed to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Until next time on Katawa Shoujo. Goodbye.